Hello, everybody. This is Teen Title Talk with Erin
and Courtney,
podcast,
where two librarians discuss two YA books every 2 weeks.
Well, and also talk about other stuff apparently, and also get off schedule as far as now with this week.
Yeah, but it's been weird.
It's been weird. So, in case people from the future are listening to this later. We're recording this on April 2nd, 2020 in the evening, and we're coming through. We sound very tinny because we're both at home and we're using Zoom. And obviously there's a global pandemic happening. It's coronavirus. Look it up if you're way in the future. We had a really good intentions about staying on schedule, but I'm having a hard time with that. So
it's impossible.
Yeah, so we didn't actually get the reading done that we were hoping to do, but we do want to do something. Before we do that, though, we do have to just touch base about some stuff. So as far as reading time, Court, how's it looking over there? Can you give us a snapshot of what your day's like? Is reading involved in that day?
Not really. So, let's see. Wake up at 6:45 with the kindergartner, basically breathing on my face, being like, ready? Are you ready for the day to start? And then
6:45 this takes place?
Yeah. And then it's like me arguing to, I don't know, try and convince everybody to stay in bed until 7:30. And then we play Animal Crossing until breakfast. And then I pretend to be a kindergarten teacher for a while. I don't think I'm doing it very good, but whatever. And then I just wait for the next meal, basically. I'm that's how I'm marking the time in my days. I'm oof, I think it's time for lunch, right? Do we get there yet? Snack time? Okay, dinner now, right? That means only 2 hours till bedtime? Okay, good.
That's interesting. I'm having a similar experience. And then by the time you hit bedtime, it's really, really bedtime. You need to actually sleep so you're not gonna die in the morning again at 6:45 when you're trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
Now, are you doing stuff for the library?
Yeah, so I'm also figuring out how to work, which is a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. I think part of the challenge is my job is not usually from home. So it's okay, what do I do? What can I do from home?
How can you make that work?
How can I be a valuable member of our team while also not driving myself insane? There are some people at the library who are, it seems working a ton, and I feel I'm not pulling my weight yet. So that's also been causing me a lot of guilt and stress. So
I think that's totally normal because it's I think everybody's experiencing that too, no matter how much they're able to get done, because it's not going to equal the same amount as they're doing at the library. Because you have just other things happening, and you and I both have young kids. So obviously there's a difference between that and say maybe having a teenager who also is doing schoolwork, and you can kind of do a little bit during that time.
Right. That's true.
But, it's tricky. I'm doing it mostly in the evenings.
Yeah. So, I have to do it after everyone goes to bed or whatever.
Which is not that fun because then you don't get a break. You're all day you're doing something, and then once everybody's asleep, you can do your work.
I know. We have a Slack account or something where we're instant messaging each other kind of. And I don't even get on there until 8:45 or 9, and then I'm doing my whatever hour or two of work after everyone's already in bed.
Although, do you guys do a quiet time? Because that's my time to catch up with everything. Midday we do quiet time.
I did. I don't do that. It would be really smart.
It just gives me that an hour in the middle where I can just catch up with everybody, and then make a list of what I need to do once either Jason takes a break and we swap for a little while, or in the evening later on.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. I should do that. Maybe I'll start doing that tomorrow.
Start the quiet time. It's great.
Love it.
So for our listeners, today's going to be a little bit different. We're both reading great books, but we're much slower, obviously, as I know everybody is right now. So we'll talk about those books next time. Court, just what are you reading right now? Do you want to just say a quick thing about it? Or, I mean, we want to save our big synopsis for next time.
Oh, yeah, sure. I do want to say that I'm reading Internment by Samira. It's available on Overdrive in New Hampshire if people are interested. Like, that's how I'm reading it right now. I mean, maybe it's not available because I'm reading it. But someday it will be available when I'm done with it. So it's online, which is great. And it's like a sort of dystopian alternate reality in which after Donald Trump's election, there's a total Muslim ban and everyone who is Muslim gets sent Japanese in World War II.
Okay, internment camps. Yeah.
So it's really good so far. I would call it a page turner.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. And I went in a totally different direction. Next week on the 9th, I'm moderating a talk with Kat Howard. I'm moderating with her, and we're talking with the authors Amy Rose Capetta and Cori McCarthy about their new novel, Sword in the Stars.
Oh,
and it's great. I know you read the first one.
Yeah, I loved it.
Once and Future. It's a Arthurian retelling, and this one is the next installment. So this comes out in April. Did it already come out? No, it comes out in April. I don't think it hit this early. I haven't actually paid attention to exactly when in April it's coming out, but
I've seen the cover, but I haven't. I don't know.
I have started it. I'm not way into it, and I'm loving it. And we're going to have a great chat. So I'm just going to be booking it through this, and then you and I will talk more about it later. But if anybody wants to join that, obviously you can. It's through Gibson's bookstore, and that one's in Concord, and you can jump right on Zoom and just like have a nice conversation with us.
I think I'm going to. That's fun.
Yeah, you should totally jump on. It'll be in the evening. I'll post the information for that like with this post. So instead of talking about those books, we're just going to do like a quick, what are we excited about? I mean, we're obviously going to be building a nice like TBR pile right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can kind of look ahead and see what fun is happening.
Yeah.
Before we do that, let's jump into the Jar of Teen Angst because we kind of have to. Weird not to.
It would be so weird, and I think we need.
So my first question is, do you remember a time when you faced adversity as a teen?
I mean, for the most, I mean, I didn't face any like serious life-changing challenges, I don't think.
Right.
I mean, adversity in the sense that I felt weird. I always felt weird or different. And I think that's common to teenagerhood. I feel like everyone thinks that they're weird or different. But I don't know, not really. I mean, I feel like right now we're facing lots of adversity. So it'd be interesting to hear what teens now are thinking of this like moment in time. That is something like, I wonder when they're going to fiction about this moment.
Right, exactly. I was just kind of thinking of the same thing because I was like, well, you know, my husband and I talk a lot about that right now. We're like, oh, this is an interesting challenge and that we haven't had before. So I would love to hear from any listeners, especially teen listeners, of how you're doing and feeling right now. And if you feel like this is challenging to your life, like just maintaining the normal and how that feels. So yeah, I didn't have anything much that I could latch onto either. I think obviously with perspective, it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't that bad.
I think that's part of the problem. It's like, if I was a teen answering this question, I'd be like, my greatest source of adversity, I can't find a boyfriend or something like that. But now looking back, I'm like, that was probably okay. Better off even, maybe.
Well, let's do a cheerful one, or it could be bad. Who knows? But this one is, what was the best birthday party you had as a teen? Did you like big events or just a few friends? Tell us what made it special and unique to you.
think my best birthday party was probably my 16th birthday party. Yeah, my sweet 16.
Okay, tell me about it.
I got to invite a ton of friends over, and I'm like imagining, I can barely remember the day. I remember I've seen, I have like a million pictures of it. So I can see what I'm wearing, which is this like turquoise t-shirt with a maroon Old Navy tech vest on top of it.
Amazing.
And I don't know. I guess my friends just totally got me, and I had so much fun. Like the stuff that they got me. I got a gigantic stuffed SpongeBob that would
Amazing.
sit in my back seat while I drove around.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I got a Steve from Blues. So, okay, so what year was this? When did it was probably like 2000.
Okay.
So I got a Steve from Blue's Clues doll.
Amazing.
Yeah, because everyone knew that I had a crush on him. And so that was great. And
Wait, isn't Blue's Clues like an 8 kids show? Like a little.
Yeah, it was on Nick Jr., but I had a massive crush on Steve, like host. But if you ever watched it, you would have a crush on him too, because he was
I'll
really
totally check it out. I haven't seen it, but I hope now I wouldn't. That would be disturbing.
No, I don't know. I would still have a crush on him.
So
So yeah, but like no, and we watched movies, just like hung out and were stupid and funny and fun, and it was just really fun.
that
I
sounds
don't know.
nice.
It was just a nice birthday, and I think that was probably my best.
My 16th birthday was also great. It was, I believe, my 16th was when my friends threw me a surprise party. I think it was my 16th.
Surprise party.
Whatever. It was so great. My friends threw me a surprise party, and I was supposed to go, like, just go over to Sam's house and hang out. And I got there, and like everybody was there, and it was such a nice big birthday. It was so fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I felt so special that they thought of me. I mean, the rest of the day I felt like garbage because everybody was not like, it was one of those where it's like, no, we're not like doing anything with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, once I was over that, it was nice. But normally I would have stuck with like smaller groups. I really liked having small parties, except for then again, I remember with my friend Geneve, we'd always have like a end of year party. And we invite like the entire class, and people would come over to my house or her house and have just a nice big bash to start the summer. And that was really fun.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I was gonna say there's another party that I'm thinking of that was even better than that party, but it wasn't my birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
The I2K New Year's Eve party.
Nice. The end of the world party.
Yes, and it was so much fun. And we watched Silence of the Lambs.
Wow.
I watched it for the first time because we were into watching scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in this girl's basement, and it was one of those basements that's like, it's like finished but not like actually finished. So like her dad had probably just like thrown some carpet on the cement and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we were down there, and we were just like being loud and dumb, and then we were like, tonight could be our last night on earth. And so we like ran upstairs. We just went like with no coats on, mind you. It's December 31st in New Hampshire. We're like screaming down the road in this neighborhood, like, we're still alive.
That's amazing. It sounds like a great party, Court.
It was a great party.
Wow. All right, one more question. Tell us one thing about your reading habits now that hasn't changed since you were a teen. Is there anything you still do, like to sit down with a book? Or something you just like to read that you've always read.
I'm trying to think about like a reading habit that I have. One of my habits that I've never ended, and it's actually like a habit that annoys me, but I can't stop myself from doing it, is that I almost always will kind of like open up the book to a random page before I start it and just kind of peruse that page, and then I start the book, and then I like see how the things connect.
Interesting. So you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek.
A little bit of a sneak peek every time, and I'm like, ooh, who's that person? Or, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, or whatever, and then I start and see, adjust my judgment from there. But it's like kind of a weird, I don't know why I do it, because then sometimes it ends up ruining things because you see something you wish you didn't see.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's a bad habit, I guess.
I have bad habits with books too. Well, one thing I was thinking was I always like to have a cup of tea with me if I can. Not in the evenings, because then I'll just be up all night. But the other thing I noticed I do all the time still is I like have bad book taking care of things. Like I always dog ear pages, and I always will like set the book down with it like
open
the binding.
I do the same.
To save my spot or whatever. I don't know. And then what else?
I'll sometimes rip off a piece of the jacket to be my bookmark. Like just a little corner side of it, like the flap.
Wow. What I do, I just will lift the flap of the book, and like if it's not a library book because it's taped down, but
then you tuck it in.
Right, I'll just tuck it in.
Yeah, that's true. That works great.
Why do you rip off a piece of the library book to use as
No. It gets like, if it's a book or something, I might take a little slice, but more often than not, I'll just use like a napkin.
Yeah, or anything like a sock, anything that's around, really.
Use pen.
Yeah, that's great for the binding too.
Yep, it's super. No, yeah, that's true. Those are all bad habits. If it's a book, who cares?
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's talk about books. Like, what are you excited about coming up? Give me one.
You are good because you actually wrote synopses of yours.
I wrote down a couple of things about them. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay, because there's one I'm really excited about that comes out in April. Like, it's coming up right away. And it's called Elysium Girls by Kate Pentecost.
Oh, yes, I heard about that one.
It looks amazing. It's a Dust Bowl inspired fantasy. That immediately grabbed my attention because I don't really see a synopsis saying a Dust Bowl inspired fantasy a lot. It sounded totally unique. So it sounds like what happens is a witch named Sal and a demon named Asa team up, but after a fatal mistake, they both get exiled into the Desert of Dust. And there they meet other exiles who make a bunch of like these like look like metallic horses out of scrap metal, and they race back to Elysium to save it from the coming apocalypse. Doesn't that sound cool?
Yeah, I love a good apocalypse story.
So I thought that, like, I don't know, it just gave me some interesting vibes because it definitely felt unique, and I think that I'd like something like that right now. Nothing near reality either at the moment, hopefully. Although maybe it has a little, you never know.
Right, true.
It might speak to something.
You're like doing things right now. Okay, so one of mine on my list for sure is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. It is the story of Mozart's fictional, but the story of his older sister and sort of imagining what her life was like as an extremely talented musician in her own right, and like how being a woman in the 18th century really puts a damper on what you're able to accomplish. And I'm excited to see how the author kind of imagines this and gives her agency. It sounds really fun, and I like historical fiction, so I think
This
it'll be
sounds
good.
really interesting because Marie Lu doesn't always do historical fiction. So is this different for her, or has she had done
It's her first work of historical fiction, so I'm excited.
Very interesting. Okay, I didn't know that was coming out. My next pick was Don't Call the Wolf by Alexandra Ross. I mean, this one is so up my alley based on the synopsis. It says it's about a golden dragon that descends into this forest, and it brings.
You read about dragons.
I know, and forests.
True.
It brings along a horde of monsters with it, and there's this queen of the forest, that sounds like totally something I would love, and she's running out of options out of how to get rid of them, this dragon and these monsters, and then she saves this guy, Lucas, who is the last survivor of an army of dragon slayers.
Oh.
So basically a bargain is struck. She'll help him find his brother who mysteriously disappeared in her forest, and he'll help her slay the dragon.
Oh, I love this.
But I don't know if either of them will be able to keep their promises. We're going to find out.
I mean,
probably not. Probably. I don't know.
Probably, maybe in a different way in the end, as so happens.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that sounds fun. My next is Thorn by Intisar Kanani. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
Okay.
It's a fantasy retelling of Goose Girl, which I'm not familiar with, but the main character is Alira. She's a princess who's betrothed to a prince who is in another kingdom. She has no control over her life or her future, but like a sorceress steals her identity, and then she kind of has to like start over from scratch, and she's kind of excited because she's like, oh, it's almost like now she can have her own life.
Okay.
But she discovers some threats aimed at the princess who used to be her, and then she has to decide like what she should do with her life and whether she should reveal the secrets and how she can save people and all that stuff. So
interesting.
Yes, I love sorcery, so
yeah. Awesome. The next one I have is interesting with magic as well. So this one's called The Gilded Ones. Deathless number 1, so obviously a setup for something bigger. It's by Namina Forna. It takes place, well, I don't know where it takes place, but it's about this girl. She's 16-year-old. Her name's Decca, and she's already this outcast in her own village, and she's waiting. You know how there's this like coming of age ceremonies that we always see. This particular one, it's the blood ceremony. So when it takes place, she hopes her blood is going to run red, except showing that she truly belongs in this village. But on the day of the ceremony, her blood runs gold, which is a sign of impurity. So apparently for this, she's going to face a consequence worse than death. I have no idea what that is. But then a mysterious woman comes to her with an alternative. And it's like, come fight for the emperor with an army of girls that are just like you. And they're called Alakai, and they're special ones. And obviously she goes and does that. So I'm interested to see what this world looks like. I'm really interested in the lore. And I got to say, as far as beautiful covers, this is the winner.
I've seen the cover. Now that you're talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I've read a bit about that, and it looks amazing. Really interesting. Yes, and the cover is beautiful. Agreed.
It is, yeah.
My next one that I'm excited about is We Are the Wildcats by Siobhan Vivian, and that one is kind of like not my usual fare. It is about a group of field hockey girls who have having a sleepover before the beginning of their new season, and then like there's some kind of midnight initiation ceremony
Oh God.
that takes place every new season. And so it's one of those, like, I guess where things happen at midnight. There's like a toxic coach, and there's like hijinks, I think, involved, and then that kind of turns serious, and they're sort of forced to confront some long-held secrets, and they're willing to go for friends, people they might not even know yet. And I think I'm excited about it because I don't read a lot of contemporary YA, I feel like, and I especially don't read a lot of like sporty, but
Right.
I do think that, I don't know, that stuff can be really powerful and good when done well. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I'm like, we do read some contemporary for this, but in general, I don't think we lean toward it.
Right.
I wanted to make one, like I wanted to pick one that was contemporary. So my next one is also contemporary. It's Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Obviously, I'm a big fan of hers because I always read her books. In this one, which is coming out in May, two sisters who are in two different parts of the world have this life-changing experience when the plane carrying their father crashes and he dies. They don't know about each other. And on this day, they both lose their father, and they find out, I don't know if they find out about each other on the same day, but they, as this unfolds, they find out about each other. So it sounds really interesting, and it might be a tearjerker. And the last thing I really want right now is a story about reality, but I'm a sucker for a sister story. So I'll definitely be looking out for this one.
Sister story.
I
Yeah, that one
know.
sounds sad though, because but
who knows? In May,
yeah, that's
I might be feeling great about everything.
True.
Yeah.
Wait, did we go through 4? We did 4. We're on 5 now, right?
Yeah, we're on 5. Do you have one more?
I do. Girl Serpent Born by Melissa Bashardust. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Oh, okay.
Bashardust.
Okay.
It's Bashardoust.
Oh, okay.
The cover is like, wow, I think it's so beautiful. So anyway, I'm totally judging this book by its cover right now. It comes out in May. It's a fairy tale about a girl cursed to be poisonous to the touch.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she's lived her life away from people, apart from her family, living only like in her own little world, in her own little garden. And she has a twin, and he's getting married, and she has to like make choices about whether or not she can be present in his life or in anyone's life, or if it's dangerous for people or for herself, and blah blah blah. Although now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, it's a little bit like Frozen.
Yeah, interesting.
Because one is kind of super out by her because they know that she's poisonous, obviously. Okay. I feel like people would be. So she's attached with just sort of her, and also she's obviously where she feels trapped and bad. And so I think it's interesting to think about this kind of story where like you are pariah, I guess, and like where your power comes from. So
nice.
Yeah, so or monster, who are you, I guess.
That sounds
so
cool.
I'm excited about that one.
Nice. My last pick is Aurora Burning. I loved Aurora Rising. It's by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And I just want to read like the synopsis straight off of Goodreads because I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so if anybody is wondering if this sounds familiar, it's because it's the actual description of the book. So it says, first, the bad news. An ancient evil, your standard consume all life in the galaxy deal is about to be unleashed. The good news, Squad 312 is standing by to save the day. They've just got to take care of a few small distractions first. Like the clan of Grimps, who'd like to rearrange their favorite faces. And the cadre of illegit GIA agents with creepy flowers where their eyes used to be, who will stop at nothing to get their hands on Ari.
Oh
Then
my
there's
God.
Cal's long-lost sister, who's not exactly happy to see her baby brother and has a Sildrathi army at her back. With half the known galaxy on their tail, Squad 312 has never felt so wanted. So obviously, it's going to be a big adventure with lots of action and probably some snark because that's kind of their thing. And I love it.
Sounds super fun. I love adventure. Also, the flowers for eyes people sound super creepy, and I'm gonna have nightmares about that.
Yeah, sorry it's so late.
It's better.
So was that your fifth one?
Yeah, that was my fifth one.
Alrighty. So what's up next is we're going to be talking about the two books, Internment and Sword in the Stars, next time. In the meantime, if you have answers to our questions from the Jar of Teen Angst, those were, what kind of adversity, if any, did you run up against and how did you handle it? Teens today, how are you handling things now? Do you feel like there's some adversity or is this totally fine and you're handling it really well? What kind of birthday parties did you like? And did you have one favorite that was super special and unique to you? And adults, what reading habits do you have that haven't changed since you were young? Also, if you guys have any just straight up bad habits with books, we obviously would love to hear those because we apparently have a lot. You can answer those questions or ask new ones by emailing us at teentitletalk@gmail.com.
Thank you for joining us for this very different, very strange sounding Teen Title Talk. This podcast is brought to you by the Derry Public Library and Derry-CAM, Derry Community Access Media, and independent voices.
Although they can't be blamed for the audio in this one at all. They're just our usual partners.
Yeah, we're just doing this all on our own. We don't even know what it's going to be like. Wherever listening from, hopefully from your home or your car where you are not talking to anybody or touching and 6 feet apart from everybody. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to rate and review wherever you listen. Our theme that is not here today was created and performed by Banded Starling. Until next time, stay safe.
Bye.